Ark Survival Ascended is about to drop 2 new maps. The first map is said to be the center, which was supposed to be released at the end of February 2024. However, just recently Wildcard has announced that the map will be delayed with no further information. The second map will be Scorched Earth, which will be released on April 1st, or at least that's the latest available information. With that said, let me give you 5 tips for the center map, which will help you get a head start before the other players. Now keep in mind that while these maps may offer new experiences compared to the original Ark Survival Evolved, the majority of these tips should still prove to be accurate and invaluable for your survival. So, without further ado, let's get started. For tip number 1, I'll tell you where you'll be able to farm your resources, starting with wood. The best place to farm wood will be in the redwoods area of the map by farming the large redwoods trees. The best way to farm it would be a beaver, which you can also find in the redwoods area, or even better, you can use a mammoth, which you can find all around the ice zone of the map. Stone and flint. Stone and flint can be found anywhere on the map, but the best place that I like to farm it has to be the lava island, as there are little trees in the way. You can use Anki for flint or a Dodic for stone, and while you're at it, you can also farm the black trees there to get some charcoal so you can craft yourself some gunpowder later. Metal. Metal nodes can be found in the Snow Mountains, Lava Island, Floating Islands, Tropical Island North, but the best place to farm it is actually the redwoods, because you can find those big rich metal nodes. The best way to farm it is gonna be the Anki and RG combination, or you can use a Quetzal and Anki, however that's gonna be a slow process, that's why I would recommend you using the RG instead. Crystal. The crystal nodes can be found on the Lava Island, Snow Mountains and the Floating Islands. You can use an Anki to farm them, and I would advise you to farm as much as you can, so you don't have to farm it regularly. Obsidian. The best place to farm obsidian is on the Lava Island, and you can find it scattered all around the island. Use an Anki to farm it. Oil. Oil nodes can be found at the Snow Mountains and pretty much everywhere in the water. Use an Anki to farm them, and if you're in the water, just use a donkey. Silica pearls. Silica pearls are pretty much everywhere at the bottom of the ocean, or you can also find them in the water below the floating islands, but I would not recommend that spot due to the large amount of sharks. Use an anglerfish to farm them at the bottom of the ocean, that's gonna be your best way. Organic polymer. The best way to farm organic polymer on this map is by killing the penguins that spawn under the snowy mountains left side of the floating islands. You can use a moss chops or even better a pelagornis, as it will give you the most out of it, and bear in mind that the baby penguins will give you a lot more polymer than the fully grown ones. If you want to have lots of organic polymer, you can tame yourself one male penguin and as many females as you can find, and then you can breed them, hatch the baby penguins and harvest their bodies. For tip number 2, I'll show you the most important dino spawns on this map. Starting with flyers, you need to tame yourself some pteranodons and argentavises. The best place to find pteranodons is in the redwoods area, as you will find a lot of them there. Argentavises usually spawn all over the snowy mountains, and some also spawn at the Lava Island. I would recommend you the snowy mountains, as you can find more of them there. And for Quetzals, you can find those anywhere on the map but in the redwoods. I would recommend you looking in the jungle area of the map, just look at the skies, they're pretty hard to miss. Farming dinos are going to be essential for your survival, so let me tell you which ones you need to tame and where you can find them. Starting with the Ankylosaurus. This will be your best option for farming metal, obsidian, flint and crystal. You can find them all over the snowy mountains, and you can pick one up with your Argentavis and take it to your taming trap. Then you need to tame yourself a Dodic so you can farm a lot of stone. You can find those guys mostly in the redwoods biome. For wood, you should tame a beaver, which you can find in the redwoods biome or in the jungle biome. Just look near any water sources for a beaver dam, and there are usually beavers roaming around them. Or you can also tame yourself a mammoth, which you can find anywhere in the ice zone of the map, and they're also pretty great for wood. Now for your carnivore dinos. You will want to tame Rexes, which you can usually find on the Lava Island, but they also spawn on top of the snowy mountains. Personally, I would go for the Lava Island, as you will find more of them there. The Lava Island is also the best place to look for Gigas or Karchas. Both of these beasts share the same spawn point, and they can also spawn on top of the North Snowy Mountain. And lastly, if you are in need of cementing paste, you can tame yourself some snails, which you can find all over the redwoods biome. For my tip number 3, I'll tell you the best ways to get blueprints on this map. The center map has multiple different caves, but Wildcard has stated that they will be adding more caves. Essentially, the best way to farm blueprints on this map will be by going to those caves and farming the cave drops. Back on Ark Survival Evolved, the easiest cave to farm blueprints on the center was the jungle cave and the lava cave. Tip number 4 will be how to do the boss fight, the center arena. You will be facing the Megapithecus and the Broodmother both in one fight on this map. Back on Ark Survival Evolved, we were beating this boss fight by simply jumping on a ledge with either a frog or a Procoptodon and then just shooting the bosses with decent shotguns until they die. However, I cannot be sure yet if this method will work on the new and reworked map, so your best bet will be to breed a bunch of Rexes and go all in with them. Tip number 5 will be about base locations. At this point we cannot be sure which base locations are going to be the best ones because we have yet to see the new caves that Wildcard will be adding to this map. However, if you're going for the PvP experience of the game, there are 2 really strong base locations on this map. One of them is the Ice Cave, which is located below the North Snowy Mountain. This cave is really big and allows you to put multiple turret walls, making this spot really hard to raid. On top of that, the cold environment makes it so people don't usually stick around for too long. The second really good cave on this map is the cave on the lava island. This cave is also pretty big and is also one of the strongest base spots in the game in my opinion. These were my top 5 tips and tricks for the center map. Let me know if I missed something in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss my Scorched Earth video, which will be coming soon.